Hey, and welcome to the Chef's Table, a weekly video series for culinary entrepreneurs who want to monetize their skills outside of the kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Evelyn. This is the place for successful women who want to live, cook, and work on their own terms. So if that's you, let's get started. Hey, it's Chef Evelyn, and I am back with another episode of the Chef's Table. And I'm so excited to answer this question today, which is, can anybody build a high-end culinary brand? And before I get into the details, I'm just going to come straight out and answer the question. And the answer is yes, but, okay? There are some terms and conditions about whether or not somebody can build a high-end culinary brand. But before we get into what that is, right, if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you to the show. I hope that you enjoy these trainings that I release every single week. I'm Chef Evelyn. I am a culinary brand strategist that is passionate about helping women live, cook, and work on their own terms. And the way I help them do that is by helping them build high-end culinary brands from scratch that have multiple streams of income. So listen, we're going to get into this today. I recently did a video talking about why I chose to build a high-end culinary brand. And if you've never watched any of my videos before, or if you haven't heard me say this before, because there's a lot of videos in this playlist, right? Like, one of the things that I encourage people to do is just get yourself your favorite snack, your favorite beverage. It can be an adult beverage. Listen, okay? Because sometimes life, right? And just have a marathon watch through and really soak up all the information that I'm sharing with you in this series that I do here on this channel. But I shared in a video recently, like, why I chose a high-end culinary brand. But one of the things I say all the time is you can have a successful food business and it not be a high-end culinary brand. It just also won't have the benefits of a high-end culinary brand, right? So I'm not one of those consultants or coaches who's going to tell you, if you don't do it my exact way, you won't have success. That's ridiculous. People have success all types of ways, right? But if you are drawn to the benefits that come with building a high-end culinary brand, then this is where you want to be. So let's get into the kind of like, yes, anyone can build a high-end culinary brand, but there's some things that need to happen in order for anyone to build a high-end culinary brand. And some of these things are a little bit more tangible, and some of these things are a little intangible, but that doesn't mean they're less important, okay? So the first thing that, a woman has to do if she wants to build a high-end culinary brand is she has to decide that that's what she wants, right? And like I said, if you're new here, I always have my notes with me because I don't want to forget anything. I want to give you all the juice, all the tea, all the water, all the coffee, all of the beverage. I want to give you everything that I came to give you, right? I wanted to do what it was supposed to have done, okay? Anyway, if you're on Instagram, you understand where that comes from. So the first thing that a woman really needs to do if she's like, okay, I want to be the kind of woman that can build a high-end culinary brand, is she has to make a decision. And I know that seems like, well, yeah, I want to build a high-end culinary brand. Wanting to do something and deciding to do something are two completely different things. You can want to work out, but not decide to work out. You can want to eat healthy, but not decide to eat healthy. You can want to get up earlier, but not have decided to get up earlier, right? So there's a lot of things that we want, we desire, but there's the difference between what we desire and what we have decided, right? When we have decided, decide means to cut, means that there is no other option, right? I am going to eat healthy. I am going to get up early. I am going to build a high-end culinary brand, right? I am going to exercise. And once we make that decision, there's really nothing that can stop us, right? Like, think about this, ladies. Like, think about something in your life where you were like, that's it. I'm doing fill in the blank. There was nothing anybody could do to stop you. It's the power of a made-up mind. Nothing is as powerful as the power of a made-up mind, right? So when it comes to building a high-end culinary brand, the first thing you have to do is you really have to decide that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to build this high-end culinary brand. So that's the first thing, right? The second thing that needs to happen so that any woman can build a high-end culinary brand is you have to get the formula, the recipe. Like, you have to figure out what is the how-to. What are the components that go into a high-end culinary brand? This is what I walk my clients through, the ladies who are part of the Chef's Table experience, because there are some significant components that have to be in place in a strategic way, in a strategic order. And these are not just technology and animation. That is automation. That is a part of it, but that's not the only thing that goes into a high-end culinary brand. And a lot of times people are trying to DIY their way to a high-end culinary brand. Like, when did the words high-end and DIY ever come into the same? Like, those are two opposing thoughts. Nothing wrong with DIY, nothing wrong with high-end, but DIY does not lead to high-end, right? So, you know, getting the step-by-step how-to, because this is what I can tell you. You may see people with high-end culinary brands and you can see what they're doing. You may watch a little bit of YouTube videos and people may give you the why, but in order to get the how, you're going to have to invest to get that solution, right? And here's the thing, you're not even going to know why they're doing the things that they're doing or not doing the things that they're not doing, right? Because all of that is part of their specific strategy, right? And that's one of the things I walk my clients through in the Chef Table experience, is like, not only am I going to tell you the what, but I'm also going to tell you why this needs to happen. And then I'm going to tell you how, and then I'm going to tell you when, and then I'm going to tell you where, and if you need support, who. Like, all of these components go into building this high-end culinary brand. So you have to get the recipe, right? You know, yes, we are great at looking at recipes and being like, oh, I can make that at home and making something similar. But sometimes there's some recipes that are so unique and so dynamic and so delicious that we're just like, even with the best of our spidey sense, we can't quite put our finger on it. And you need the recipe in order to figure out, was it an ingredient? Was it a technique? Was it a combo of the two? It's the same thing when it comes to building a high-end culinary brand. Okay. The third thing is you have to get guidance. Here's the thing, right? How do you go somewhere you've never been before? You get guidance. Think about this. I've talked about this if you've watched any number of these videos in this playlist, right? I've talked about this before. If you're driving to a destination that you've never been before, you've got one or two things, or you've got one of three things. You've got somebody that has given you directions because they've been there before. You've got a map, or you have got your GPS, right? And the reason why any of the three of those are beneficial and you leverage those is because either the person that's giving you the directions, or the person that created the map, or the satellite from the GPS has already been where you're trying to go and can back up to where you are and tell you how to get there from specifically where you are, right? And everybody's journey is different to get to that destination because of where they've been at. And so without a guide, how do you know how to get to where you're going if you've never been there and you don't have a roadmap? You don't have a guide. You don't have a GPS, right? That's essentially what a strategist does. That's what I do for my clients. I have been where they're trying to go. I know the terrain. I have a satellite. I can look at the industry. I can tell them where to avoid the traffic jams and the pitfalls and the construction, or even if they do get a flat tire, where's the closest place to get it fixed and how to recover and how to get back on track if they get sidetracked, right? You can't go where you've never been and you don't either have a map, a guide, or a GPS, right? So anybody can build a high-end culinary brand, but you need guidance, okay? Here's the thing. You also can, any woman can build a high-end culinary brand, but you're going to have to invest. Now, here's the thing. There's more than one ways to invest, right? You can invest with sweat equity. Let me try to figure this out on my own, and let me Google search, and let me spend weeks and years and months online, and let me try to copy what other people are doing. You can do that. So you're going to spend time, you're going to spend energy. You may spend frustration, disappointment, lost money, mistakes, all that kind of stuff, right? Or you can invest financially, resources, and go, you know what? This person, not only have they charted the path, but they've been there, but they've helped others do the same. And you know what? I'm in a place where I value my time because I can't get my time back. Okay. We can always generate more revenue, generate more income, right? And that that there's going to be a return on that. So listen, you can do the sweat equity version. Listen, I've been there, done that. I am no longer in that phase of life. Thank you very much. Okay. That is not what I like to do. That's not what my clients like to do, right? There's nothing wrong with that. People do that all the time. That is some people's preferred method. Listen, that's totally fine. They're just not my clients, right? They're just not a good fit for the chef's table. The women who get results are resourceful. They understand leveraging their resources because their most valuable resource is their time. So anything that can preserve their time for the things that are more important, they're willing to invest to shorten the learning curve to get to their destination faster with fewer frustrations and failures in between. Okay. So anybody can build a high-end culinary brand, but you're going to have to invest. I had a coach tell me one time, like, either way, you're going to have to pay, right? Like, you're either going to pay with blood, sweat, and tears, or you're going to pay with your financial resource. And this is in any area of your life, not just in business, right? If you want to be fit, you're either going to pay on the front end and being disciplined and eating well and buying high quality ingredients and moving your body, or you're going to pay on the back end and you're going to pay doctor bills and hospital bills and things like that, right? Like you're going to pay either way. So, right. So the next thing that anybody can build a high-end culinary brand, but this is what they need, is you actually have to implement and do the work. Because I've seen some people go, well, I invested with a strategist or a coach or a course. And it's like, did you do what they told you to do? Did you do it consistently? Did you make it a non-negotiable, right? Did you implement all what they told you to do, right? Or did you kind of halfway do it? Or did you just do the parts that you agreed with? Or did you just do the parts that you liked? Or did you just do the parts that came easy to you, right? Or did you implement everything that they told you to implement, right? They're not just pulling a rabbit out of their hat, right? They're giving you, if they are a quality coach or consultant, something that they have done more than once, that they know that if you do this, you will get this. If you add 2 and 2 together, you will get 4. If you want 4, you can't say, I want to add 1 and 1. You can add 1 and 1, but you're not going to get 4, you're going to get 2, right? So you need to be an implementer, and if that is not a muscle that you have developed, then you need to start developing it right now, because you will not survive in entrepreneurship without that muscle of implementation. Okay. And the last thing that you need to be able to do is you need to be able to see yourself differently. And, I'm going to kind of lean in on this one right here, because I think a lot of times, I talk a lot about like the tactical things that need to go into a high-end culinary brand, right? But also you need to be able to see yourself as the kind of woman who is the CEO of a high-end culinary brand. And as long as you just see yourself as the talent, just as the chef in the kitchen, right? Then you will kind of be on a hamster wheel of just pumping out whatever it is that you pump out. But if you're saying, no, I am building a company, a brand that I am the CEO of, and you start to function in that way, then it makes a huge difference. I think that was the biggest change that happened in my business, was I changed the way I saw myself. And I was like, oh, I'm a CEO of a company. I'm no longer just a chef, right? So listen, if you're like, you know what, Evelyn, this hit home, and you're like, I know I need to do these things or whatever, then make a decision, do what you need to do, okay? Because if you want to build a high-end culinary brand, you can do it, but you have to have these things in place, right? So I encourage you, if that sounds like you, apply for this chef's table experience to see if you're a good fit, right? To see if, if you're a good fit for the program, if the program is a good fit for you, if you're a good fit for me, if I'm a good fit for you, and if you're a good fit for the women that are already in the community, because there is a certain culture that I have built there that I'm extremely protective of. And I always make sure that anyone that gets accepted is a good fit for that. So with that being said, if you haven't joined the Chefpreneur Society, to make sure that you are able to attend the monthly live version of the Chef's Table, where I talk about a juicy topic like this but the difference is there's Q&A, and you and I can engage and you can ask your questions. Then make sure you go to chefevelyn.com/society so that you can be a part of that community and get notified when the next monthly live is. And with that, I'll see you in my next video. Peace. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a new episode. And to see what I'm cooking up behind the scenes, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Chef Evelyn. That's all for today, and I'll see you next week. Peace.